think it's definitely a two-way street. It's a collaborative process. There's a need for kind of that, like the trust fall kind of moment where the provider needs to feel, confident, or the individual needs to be self-aware enough to know not to maybe just say yes, or, oh, well, we did that topic with another customer. Here's the solution, right? It's probably not it. So there is accountability with the provider to raise its hand and say, this merits some thought and discussion. And then I think on the sponsor side, there's a need to be able to hear that and know that maybe we're going to have to just put a little bit of process in place for a particular study design or a program that wasn't planned for, because there is newness, but it's going to pay dividends by getting it right the first time. And so you can do different things, right? You can, really do user journey mapping, not to just throw some words out there, but it works. It's great. Make sure that you've really thought about whatever problem you're trying to solve from the individual user perspective. How is the site going to interact with it? How is the supplies individual going to interact with it? How is it going to work with that new integration that you need to have functioning with that trial? So you can look at it from that perspective. It's super helpful to look at it at a detailed perspective from doing data flowing, looking at data from the inception of the first piece of data entering a given system throughout its entire journey, through maybe different integrations, through the actual system itself, and out the other end. And if you do that, there's no doubt, especially in a situation where there's newness, you're going to trip over something where it's like, I don't know. I don't know whose responsibility that is. I don't know where that data is supposed to go next. I don't know what happens if this combination of entries is provided. Here's an edge case that no one could have thought about in theory. If you do that, you get the right stakeholders in the room, you have the right conversation, you can get to a place of at least common, understanding decision-making. Some of those items that you discover, you might just say, well, that's not going in the system, because there's literally there's no software requirement that we can make for it, or that shouldn't be an RTSM. That's not going to fly from a regulatory perspective. It just needs to, maybe that one item is manual process, or it goes in this other system. But from there, you can then, if your provider, can work with you on it, and I think everyone here probably can do this, you can get then into doing some workflow mock-ups, right? You can get into more of a sandbox thing where maybe a huge part of what you're deciding is the back-end data flow, but for the user-facing pieces, the things that are maybe going to trip people up in the field, you actually visualize it for the audience and allow them to sort of experience whether or not this is going to be intuitive, if the workflow is going to work in the field. Bring in a site user, have them actually give that feedback. It sounds like a lot, but you could compress all of those steps into a short period of time with the right kind of level of attention. And then when the system actually gets built, goes to UAT, you've got no surprises. And when you go out to go live with your sites, some subset of them have already seen it and they're aware of what you're doing and they're supportive. Your CRO already knows how the system works. So there's a lot that you
and it's built into your process. And it's built into your process.